everyone, my name's Courtney. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. It means so much that you wanted to take a moment out of your day to see what I have to say about cross stitch. As this is my first Flosstube video, I figured I would introduce myself a little bit, how I got into stitching, and go over all of the stuff that I did in 2024. Recap that year and see what 2025 has to bring. I also wanted to start out by mentioning some other YouTubers that kind of inspired me to start my channel. So you've got Cross Stitch the Globe, they're two sisters. They are absolutely hilarious. I love watching them. And then Stitching by the Shore. I love seeing all of her videos and her finishes, and she inspired me. I'll talk about that a little later in the video. Crafting Gaming Jamie. Though I am not a full coverage stitcher, I love watching her progress and I love watching her videos. They're really fun. And the Night Owl Stitcher. I have really been enjoying watching all four of these channels. I watch a lot others, but those are kind of the four that inspired me to start this channel. So how did I get started stitching? So in like the summer of 2022, I was so bored and did not want to just stare at the TV any longer, so I went to Michael's and got a cross stitching kit and just loved it, fell in love with it. I've always been a crafting person. My Oma, she apparently used to cross stitch, which I did not know until I had started getting more into it. I had her embroidery floss, and I used to make friendship bracelets out of them. And I think I had attempted to cross stitch at one point in time, but just had never like gotten into it. And so I had a base of stuff to start with, and I loved it so much. So I've kind of been stitching from there, and then like I said, I started designing my own patterns, selling them on Etsy. So this is the second year I have taken and made like a year recap TikTok reel of all of the stitching that I have done, and I didn't realize how much of my own patterns that I basically only did this year. So I apologize. Most of these are my own designs, but I'll explain a little bit about them as we go. I really only have one or two projects that I work on at a time. So moving forward, hopefully my videos will be pretty short. And yeah, I've got a couple of big projects that I want to start, and actually I would love some advice for those who would be willing to give it in the comment section down below. But yeah, let me get into my stitching. I'll start with the first one that I finished of 2024 and move on from there. So we're gonna start with cats. This was the second show that I worked on in 2024. It is such a good show. I know it gets a lot of backlash, but I loved working on it so much. It was so much fun, and as you can tell, it's signed by the cast that I worked with. And yeah, so it's a great little memento for the show, and yeah. As you can also tell, I don't fully finish them. They just kind of stay in their stitched form after I've ironed them and flattened them, and the casts have signed them. I will get to that later, though. I have a plan for them. All right. Next up, we have South Pacific. Rogers and Hammerstein. I love how this turned out and the colors and all of that. Again, signed by the cast that I worked with. Oh, there's... We'll just tuck that back there. Oh yeah, there's that one. Again, my design. If you happen to be interested in any of my patterns, I will link in the description below a link to my Etsy shop where you can find all of them. As well as I do sell like a kit that you can buy in case like you don't cross stitch often or like you just don't want to take the time to kit it up yourself. But yeah. So next we have The Absolute Brightness of Leonard Pelkey. This is a play. I'll pull it a little further. I worked on this play 2 summers ago. It is absolutely gorgeous, and if you buy this pattern, all proceeds from this pattern will go to the Trevor Project. I figured this show was so breathtaking and just so heartfelt that I wanted to give back and I wanted to spread the awareness. But yeah, and I love these colors. It's so bright. Alright, next we've got 2 that kind of go together, but I'm going to show them separately and then I'll show them together. We've got BroadwayCon. So this is one of their logos. So I went to BroadwayCon last year. I believe the next one is actually not that far away. But it's on this opalescent fabric. Oh, you can see it. I had it signed by some of the people I met there, and it was so much fun. And then the one that kind of goes along with that one is their other logo, because I couldn't decide which logo I liked better. So I just stitched both of them, and then whenever I met people that I liked, I just said, hey, pick one to sign. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun there. Here, let me see if I can hold them up together. Ooh. There you go. Oh, I forgot to mention, so all of these so far have been stitched on 14 count Aida that I just got at the craft store. I was not very adventurous at the beginning of the year. I branched out towards the end of the year. We'll get to that. But yeah, if I don't specify, it's all stitched with 14 count Aida from the craft store in the color that you see, and with DMC or like, let's see. They are all DMC, but this has some of the like metallic thread in it, in like the lights. Yeah, I don't have fancy floss or any stuff like that. I would love to get into that, but you know. Next up we have Kinky Boots. Again, one of my favorite shows. I've worked on this show twice, and I just am obsessed with how this turned out. So I actually have 2 versions of this one on my Etsy shop. So I have this version, which you can tell have a lot of colors in it. And then I made a simplified version that has a whole lot less colors and is a lot more simple to stitch and a lot less confetti, because oh my goodness, this was confetti. And then you can also buy both of them if you want in a bundle. But yeah, this is Kinky Boots. I love it so much. And then I think this is probably my favorite stitch that I did this year. Finished towards the end of the year, but this is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the musical. This year was the tour's 10th anniversary, and I was very lucky to be the stage manager of it. Here, I'll pull it a little closer so you can see. So we've got Bumble and Santa and Rudolph and Hermie and Sam. You've got some light effect, like stars, and then Rudolph's nose, I don't know if you can see that, is DMC light effect thread. So this is one of my favorite patterns that I made this year. This show meant so much to me that I am so glad that I have this as a memory from when I did this show. Also, something I did for this, because this traveled with me while I was on tour, and I didn't want anything to like damage the stitches or take and like cause it to get too crinkly that I couldn't fix. So I actually faced it with some interfacing. So the back, all of the stitches were protected on the back, and like sealed in, and it worked really well. I don't remember which interfacing it is. It's just very flimsy, lightweight, and yeah. I love it. Alright. So next is a Secret Santa gift that I was given. I had the best Secret Santa, and they gave me two little, tiny little cross stitches that they got Rudolph and a Christmas tree. I think they got this from one of the local shops that we, in one of the cities we were in, so I don't know where they're from or where you can get them. So obviously those are not my designs. I have two last finishes that are my designs that are not on my Etsy shop, but they were Christmas gifts, so I don't have them with me, but I will put a picture up here. The first one is one of the restaurants that I go to frequently. They're very kind to me and my family, so I wanted to make something special for them. And also then the second one is also for another restaurant. Both of them are Lebanese restaurants. They're both extremely nice and kind and have absolutely amazing food. And so I wanted to give them something as a special thanks for being so kind and generous to us. So yeah, I will have hopefully put images of them right there. But yeah, so those are all of my finishes for 2024. Like I said, I didn't realize until I was going back and reviewing my stitching for the year that almost all of them were my designs. So I have one last piece of stitching to show. And this is not my design. This is a big old project. I should have taken it out of my stitching case. So I guess I'll show you. This is my like stitching case portfolio that I keep this project in. If you can guess, you might be able to guess what kind of project it is based on the case. This was my second case that I made. The design is from Tiger Lily Designs. Also love her Flosstube channel. She's fantastic. But I adjusted this so it would fit this project, so it's much larger than the actual pattern calls for. And also I just use a button and a thing because I didn't want to deal with Velcro. But this is the inside. Tell I am a bobbin person, so we got all the bobbins here. And here I've got my folder with my pattern, and then I've got two bobbin pages that I actually made too big to fit because there's actually a whole other thing that I folded up. But as you can tell, I love Disney. These are the fabrics. I love them so much. Some extra floss, you know. But yeah, and then let me get this out. I have been working on this since 2023 when it came out. I did not iron it. I will probably not iron it until I am done with it. So I apologize for all of the wrinkles. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this whole thing in the frame, but I will try. But this is the Princess Polaroid Stitch Along by Abby Sue Designs. And this is how far I've gotten. I can't tell. Can you see? There you go. You can see most of it now. But yeah, it goes all the way down there. I'm sorry for the wrinkles. But yeah, I've stitched 4 of the princesses so far. I love this border. Ignore what's going on over here. I'll explain that in another video. But yeah, and then we've got so many more princesses. Obviously, the stitch along finished way long ago. But I'm very behind. The border took me an extremely long time to stitch. But yeah, these princesses are stunning. I love them so much. Unfortunately, this pattern's not available anymore. She doesn't sell any of her Disney patterns anymore, so I have a couple of them. And then I have one other of her stitch alongs that I want to do, that I will do on the same fabric. But yeah, so there's that. Let me fold this back up. Slow but steady on this one, right? But I want to get this one done this year so I can start I think the title was Fab 50 Stitch Along. I bought that one after the fact from the Stitch Along after it had ended. But I want to get that one started as well. But I want to finish this one first before I start another giant piece. Obviously, I love Disney. But yeah. So those are all of my finished and one whip. I finished a couple of things recently, but I'll show those in another video. All right, so that is all of my stitching. Now on, if I'm looking down, it's because I have my notebook with my my thoughts, because I needed to organize them. Otherwise, this would have been a disastrous mess. So stitching plans. So I told you my one plan for the princess stitch along. I just want to kind of keep working on that, get that done. I don't really ever do solid stitching plans. My schedule is very up in the air, very flexible. It could change very quickly. So every once in a while I'll have a solid plan. Like the 2 that I showed you for the restaurants, those needed to be done by Christmas because those were Christmas presents, which thankfully I actually got those done. That was a lot of fun stitching while on a tour bus. But now, so things that I want to start soon and my thoughts and plans, and actually I would love some advice. So I'll get into that. Well, the first one I want to show you is Bella Filipina, The Mad Tea Party. I got this as a Christmas gift. So this, I don't know if it's considered a fancy lady. I'm going to consider it a fancy lady, because that's what Bella Filipina does a lot. But I absolutely am obsessed with this. It's fantastic. I only stitch on Aida. I don't really want to stitch on linen. I stitch in a lot of like random lighting. Sometimes it's not great, sometimes it's great, sometimes I have to like position the fabric just perfect so I can see. So I don't really want to dive into linen, at least not yet. Maybe a long way in the future. But so I want to do this on Aida. I've been doing a lot of research and I think I settled on 16 count. I have now done 2 projects on 16 count and 2 on 18 count, and 18 is not my favorite. Also, I was reading that because this has beads. It has gorgeous beads. that beads aren't great on 18 count, but what do you think? I think I want to do it on 16 count. I think I want to do it on this color fabric. Obviously with all of the called for colors, because that's just gorgeous. I am obsessed with it. I've seen it stitched on a green, and as much as I love that, I just don't know. I feel like this is more my vibe. I might try to go a little lighter on the brown. I don't know yet. Either way, this also has Crochet. I have never used Crochet before. I have never stitched beads before. Any advice is welcome. Do I stitch 2/2? Do I stitch 2/1? I honestly don't remember what the pattern calls for. I've never stitched 2/2. I feel like it'd be an interesting task and an interesting thing to learn. I would be welcome to trying that. So there's this. I don't have a plan of when I want to start this yet. I gotta order fabric, I gotta order the beads and the Crochet, but I want to start this at some point. You Flosstubers are encouraging me to get more and more projects going at once, which is fine. I love it. I enjoy having the different variations and sizing of projects. So yeah, there's this. Next I have the 12 monthly minis from Primrose Cottage, also a Christmas gift. I am so excited about these. These are so cute. I, again, encouraged by Flosstubers. I don't remember exactly who. I've seen them, a couple different channels are stitching this, or stitch this. Either way, I am so excited to do this. My hope for this is to stitch each one in the month that it is. I don't know how January is going to go because I don't have fabric for this yet. I don't know if I want to do it on the called for. Actually, I don't want to do it on the called for because it's a 32 count linen, and like I said, I don't want to do linen. I don't know if I'll do the color of the fabric, or I might do something different. I don't know yet. So January probably won't be stitched in January. Maybe I'll start the month starting with February, so that gives me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, so that's 12 monthly minis, Primrose Cottage. If you have any suggestions of fabric, that's Aida. I'm open to 14, 16, 18 count Aida, hand-dyed, anything. Any suggestions? What colors might look good with all of these colors of all of the different months? They're very colorful. I love that. I will not finish them into pillows because I don't have a lot of room for stuff like that. I like things to be flat, but I might do like a little picture frame that I can interchange them, which would be really cool. But yeah, so there's that. The next plan I have, I actually don't own the pattern for yet, but I'll put it here, is Books Are Magic by Counting Puddles. I have gotten really into reading in 2024, and this pattern is absolutely gorgeous. I believe it has beads as well, so that will be a lot of fun. I don't know what color fabric to do for it yet. I think there is a hashtag for it. If there is, I'll put it here. But yeah, I really want to start that one soon as well. With that, because I need to place an order, obviously, for all of this fabric and beads and Crochet, I also might get a Mill Hill kit, so I can, like, test out the beading for the first time on not a giant project that took me hours and hours and hours to stitch. Like I said, my schedule is always very up in the air. These plans are very loose, just what I want to stitch, not necessarily when. I have a ton of PDF patterns as well that I want to stitch that I've had for a while, and then I also have a couple of patterns of my own. One that I will not show you until I have gifted it because I want it to be a gift to somebody. And then another that is an idea for a pattern series that I want to do, but more to come on that. But I do have one thing that I have planned, and I already bought stuff to do it with. I want to start scrapbooking my finishes, because these, all but the Rudolph actually, are like the perfect size to like go in a 12 by 12 scrapbook. And Stitching by the Shore, she scrapbooks her finishes, and I absolutely loved that so much. It's gonna be the best way for me to have my stitches finished and like feel like fully finished, without taking up a ton of room. Because I travel a lot, it's hard for me to have like things framed, and these have literally just been sitting at the bottom of my cross stitch drawer, and I want to be able to like pull them out and show them and have them like fully finished and protected better than I have had. So definitely stay tuned for that. I will keep you posted. Hopefully my next video I have some stuff, if not all of my finishes scrapbooked. Maybe once I have that kind of finished, I'll show it to you all, or maybe I'll show you in the process. I don't know yet. Let me know what you want to see. The patterns like the Bella Filipina and Books Are Magic. These are some of the most complicated and intricate designs that I will be stitching. So I wanted to keep track of that journey. That was kind of my motivation for starting this channel. And yeah. So that's the end of my stitching. If that's all you want to stay for, then thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'm going to start talking about the stuff that I crocheted. And so I crocheted 21 projects this year. I am not showing you all 21 of those projects. Just a handful of the ones that like I'm the proudest of. So a little bit about how I started crocheting. So I had already been cross-stitching at this point. When I was little, had tried to teach myself how to knit. It was a disaster. All I could knit was scarves. I did not find it enjoyable. It was not fun. And then one day scrolling on Etsy, for cross-stitch patterns, I came across this adorable crocheted red panda. And I said, I'm going to teach myself how to crochet so I can make it. I still have not made that red panda, but besides that, I have been crocheting since then, and I have started doing wearables. I started with like little stuffed animals and amigurumi and stuff. Hence one of my, let me pull this down. One of my little ghosts, one of my crocheted ghosts. It does glow in the dark. And this is from 2 years ago, and it still glows in the dark. It's the Lion brand glow in the dark yarn. I don't remember the full name of it. But I have a couple more higher up on these shelves. But yeah, so this year I really started to crochet wearables more often. I'm going to start with showing you a picture of the first like true wearable that I made, which was crocheted pants. I can't wear them now because I blocked them and they ended up being extremely way too long now. So I'm gonna go back, take the waist out, and shorten them. That's just gonna be a project closer to summer so that I can wear them, because they are more of a beachy cover-up pant, not like a pants you can wear on their own. But that was one of my like biggest accomplishments of my crocheting, and the first big wearable that I made. And then the first one to show you in person, I have this shawl. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to get the whole thing in frame. This was, I know the pattern is from TL Yarn Crafts. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. But yeah, this is Two Cakes. Again, I don't remember the name of the yarn. I'll put it on the screen, I promise. But this was my like in between like show prep time, when I didn't really have anything else to do, but I still needed to be in the building in case something happened. This is what I worked on. It's super great, super warm. Of course I was making it when I was working in Florida, but I was working there at the beginning of the year, so it was cold when I started making it. But then, of course, it got way too warm by the time I was done with it. So, yeah, this stitching and the color transition is gorgeous. I love it so much. So there's that. And then I made this top. It's a racerback tank. Let's see if I can get most of it in view. It's very, very flowy, very loose fitting, racerback. Great for the summer. This is a yarn from Hobie. I don't remember the name of it or the color, but I loved how the color turned out. And yeah, I'll put the yarn and the pattern name on the screen as well. I was so prepared for the cross stitch, but when it came to crochet, I just didn't prepare. But yeah, so there's that. And then one of my favorite projects that I am so glad to have finished, and I can't wait for it to warm up a little bit, so that I can wear it, but not too much, is my hexagon cardigan. Let me back up just a little bit so you can see it. So I made this with a Red Heart Super Saver like striping yarn, hair on it. If you recognize the color palette, so the yarn itself has all of those color changes in it, except for the black. I added the black to it, so that's it's another Red Heart Super Saver. But it is Sally inspired from Nightmare Before Christmas, because I am obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. But yeah, I love this so much. I wore it a lot when I was in rehearsal for Rudolph, so it has a lot of like special memories because I had just finished it right before I left for that tour. I used I used 2 YouTube videos, tutorials from Annie at Hooks and Healers and Tony at TL Yarn Crafts. I used both of their YouTube videos. I'll link them in the description box. but I kind of used both of them, and I love how it turned out so much. Super warm, super cozy. It was fantastic. And then while I was on the road with Rudolph, another a cast member of ours, they had just started to learn how to crochet, so we crocheted a lot together. And so I got one of the, oh, what was the name of the yarn? One of the like Karam, I think it's Karam. One of the yarns that is designed to make a hat. Gives you the perfect amount of length to make a hat. And this is my hat. I'll put the yarn name and the color up somewhere over here. But yeah, the yarn came with the pom-pom, and it's so cute. This is the pattern, the crochet version of the pattern. Yeah. I'd also made a couple of Santa hats while I was on the road for some of our people who were with us. And then so I had some extra like really fluffy yarn. And so I made a simple like ear warmer. It's super cute. I've worn it a handful of times. Oh, there's an end poking out. Just goes on like that. Super cute, super fuzzy, super warm. I would have made it a hair thicker, but I ran out of yarn because I was using leftovers. But still, I love it. It's super cute. Ignore the fact that the end decided that it wanted to be known today. That was all of my finished crochet projects. I have one other big one that I've been working on for quite some time now. I'll show you my bag. So I made this bag. Just a cute little drawstring. Sally, Nightmare for Christmas. Like I said, obsessed. Little drawstring. And this is my very first sweater that I'm crocheting. Let me back up just a little bit. As you can tell, it's just kind of the body right now. I don't have anything attached because I finished this body portion. Next I'm going to do the sleeves, and then I'm going to do all the ribbing. This is the, let me show you. The Veda sweater. Oh, which one's the cover page? Here we go. By Heidi May. I loved how that looked. It's so adorable, so cute. I cannot wait to be done with it so that I can wear it. But yeah. The yarn that I'm using is from Sorella Yarns, and it was one of their oopsie sales. So this is the yarn that I have caked up. You can see how gorgeous this yarn is. So this isn't one of her specific colorways or anything. These are oopsies. She does that every once in a while to like get rid of the yarns that like didn't dye perfectly. So I'm not actually sure if I have the proper amount for all of the ribbing, which is why the pattern calls for me to do the ribbing on the bottom next before starting the sleeves, but I wanted to hold off on that in case I run out of this yarn, because this is what I plan on using for the ribbing. But if I run out, I'll come up with another plan. I started looking for other yarns that I could potentially use, but I'm hoping I have enough. I had 4 skeins in total of all of those colors, so 2 of each color, and just the body only took 1 and like a tiny bit of the second. So I hope I have enough, though I know ribbing's gonna eat up a lot of yarn. But yeah, so that's all of the crochet. So now on to books. So this year I got a Nook, well, a new Nook. I had the Nook color when I was in high school, but they no longer support it. So I got the new Nook, the Glow Light 4 plus. So it's the larger one. Actually, let me just show you. So this is my Nook. Like I said, I think it's the Glow Light 4. If I'm wrong, I'll put it down there. The plus, so it's the larger size. But it still fits perfectly in my purse. When I spent some time in Manhattan, I literally would just shove it in my purse and take it along with me. I just got this case off of Amazon. I think it's so cute. I love it. All the books. But yeah, so I really got into the books this year. I do read some still in like physical form, not all on my Nook. But mainly on my Nook because I don't have a ton of shelf space for books. So the books that I have read this year, I am enjoying reading Stephen King books in like physical form, not on my Nook. So I read Sleeping Beauties. That was a really, really good book. I really liked it. It was only the second Stephen King book that I've read. In another video, I'll get into how I started reading Stephen King. But that was really good. Another series that I read the entirety of the series while I was in Manhattan, was A Touch of Darkness, which is the Persephone side of the story, and then A Game of Fate, which is the Hades side of the story. It's a whole series, there's other ones, by Scarlett St. Clair. I love Greek mythology. I think it's so much fun, and I love the story of Hades and Persephone, and I think she did an amazing job writing it. It was so easy to read. I would definitely recommend reading those books. Yeah, I highly recommend. Also on my Nook, I read A Whole New World, which is a twisted tale by Liz Braswell. They're basically like retellings of Disney stories. So A Whole New World was Aladdin's retelling, and it was really good. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at the beginning, but the farther I got into the book, the more I loved it. It was really great. I'm hoping to read more of those A Twisted Tale series. They're all written by different authors. I have the Sally one, which, let's see. I have the Sally one that just came out. That's Sally's Lament. I love this. I love this so much. This was a Christmas gift from my parents. I also love the pink. As you might be able to tell, my favorite color is pink from the hair and the walls. But I'm really excited to read this. Nightmare Before Christmas obsessed. Speaking of, I also have Long Live the Pumpkin Queen to read. I'm really excited about this one too. I want to read this one soon. But, so there was that. And then while I was on tour, I did read A Court of Thorns and Roses, that series. And if I had, and I bought it on my Nook, so I bought the pack of all 5 of the books right off the bat. So if I had not bought that pack, I would have stopped reading after the first book. Everyone on tour could have told you how many times I would say I wanted to murder the main character. But I got through it. I read it. and I fell in love with the second book. It is such a good book. And then I read the entire series. The A Court of Silvery Flames, I think is what it's called. The last one. It took me a while to get into. I ended up really loving it. It was really great. So the A Court of Thorns and Roses, I am not the biggest fan of Sarah J. Maas's phrasing sometimes, but the story was so good that I got over it, and I loved the story so much. I'm not going to give anything away, but yeah, that was my reading of 2024. I finished, that was not all of the books that I read, but I finished 15 books in 2024, which in 2023 I finished one book. So I really started reading. All right, I think that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching my video and making it this far. I don't think future videos will be this long. Like I said, I really only stitch one or two pieces at a time, though that might be changing because Flosstube is very contagious, and I want to stitch so many things that I just might start a lot of them. But I wanted to say also, my setup is going to probably be always changing. My upload schedule is probably always going to change. Like I said, my schedule is very up in the air and flexible, and so I never know where I'm gonna be sometimes. And so yeah, bear with me, and thanks for coming along on my stitching journey. I hope you come back for more. Please leave me some comments on your advice for the Bella Filipina, the Mad Tea Party, and the Counting Puddles books are magic, and all of that. If there's anything you want more information on or you have questions about, I'm going to try to list all of the things that I mentioned in the description below. But feel free to message me. All of my social medias are in the description box. All right, I think that's it from me. I would love if you liked this video, subscribed, leave me a comment with your thoughts and opinions and advice, and I will see you next time.